In 690 and 705, Empress Wu tried to establish a new dynasty of China. A second attempt to control the throne was made by a highborn woman who married into the imperial family. This woman was named Empress Wei, and with the help of her relatives, she poisoned her husband, son of Empress Wu, and placed her own child on the throne. But Empress Wei's attempts to seize power were disrupted by yet another prince, who led a revolt against Wei and all of her supporters. This prince became known as the Xuanzong Emperor, whose rule marked the peak of Tang power and the high point of Chinese civilization under the Tang dynasty.
The ruler of this dynasty, all I have to do is slip the poison into my husband's glass and wait for nature to take its course, and then my son will be emperor.
No, you won't. I am Prince Zulong, with soldiers powerful enough to destroy you all.
He was a very good leader. He took political and economical reforms seriously during his reign. He pushed very hard to make his empire more just and politically fair. He appointed talented, high-ranked officers to oversee this process. As Xuanzong grew in age, his interest in ruling a large empire waned. He began to spend more time in seclusion from others. He worked on arts and music. Zhu Zhang also had vast concubines that he worked to make larger. From one of these concubines, he met a beautiful young woman named Yang Gufi, who he wanted to make his wife.
I want you to work very hard, reform the government, and keep our empire strong. There must not be any more political injustices.
Yes, sir.
Yufi, I will make you my bride.
Thank you, Shang-Chong. Yang's relationship was very famous, and Yang gained a lot of power and rose in social status. She took advantage of this power and packed the upper levels of government with her selfish family. Yang and her family's arrogance and ambition angered many people in the civilization, who in turn started to oppose and plot against them. Shang-Chong started to neglect his duties and the state. This led to economic distress and military weakness. In 1755, a general named An Sheng, one of the emperor's main military leaders, led a revolt with the goal of finding a new dynasty to replace the Tang.
Yufi, I have raised you to the status of royal concubine, where you will hold more power and thrive.
Thank you, Xuanzong. Little does he know that with my newfound power, I will be able to bring my relatives to higher power in the government and the courts.
An excessive ambition is causing immense amounts of unrest in the court. She has to be stopped.
Xuanzong's distractions and arrogance with luxury goods are causing him to neglect state affairs, and it's destroying our economy.
And the weakness of the military increases our vulnerability to nomadic invasions and revolts within society. His troops had killed several members of the Yang family and forced Shang-Tsung to kill Yang Gufi, a person of importance to the empire. Although the revolt was crushed and the Tang dynasty was preserved, the bad things that had come upon them forced Shang-Tsung to live with depression, grief, and disillusionment, which rendered him incapable of acting as an emperor. While the dynasty did survive much longer, the later empires did not come close to being equal in strength and leadership abilities of the early emperors.
In its efforts to defeat rebels and revolts, the Tang dynasty made alliances with nomadic groups along the northern borders of the empire. In addition, the empire split up resources and political power to regional commanders who maintained their loyalty to the empire. Like in other areas, the nomads asserted their control over large areas of land. At the same time, independent rulers arose from provincial governors who began to collect their own taxes and give very little to the imperial treasury. Regional lords began to raise their own armies and give titles to their sons without imperial consent. Overall, worsening conditions of the economy and revolts led to the downfall of the Tang dynasty.
Now, how are we going to defeat our enemies without an emperor?
There are nomadic peoples on the border who we can persuade to become our allies.
And there are loyal regional commanders who we can trust with our resources and power. So much for the nomadic people. They used their political advantages and gained control of China.
And the commanders became independent rulers. They completely abandoned us and kept all the money for themselves.
At least they didn't form an army. So many lords created their own army.
Our economy is weakening by the second, and the revolts are springing out of nowhere. This is not going to end well.